was just another boring night. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone like always. Then, buzz. A text. 11:34 p.m., right on the dot. The screen lit up with words that made my stomach drop. Whatever you do, don't go outside tomorrow at 11:34 p.m. I sat straight up. Who sent something like that? The number was wrong, too long. Started with +99, 2099, like it was calling from the future or something. My fingers shook as I hit call back. Nothing but static. Then, in the noise, I heard it. A voice, but broken. Like someone talking through a broken radio. It didn't even sound alive. And right before the call dropped, it whispered, "You should have listened." Then, silence. Just me, my phone, and this awful feeling, like I'd just opened a door I wasn't supposed to. And that was only the first message. I spent the whole night staring at that message, turning it over in my head. By morning, I'd almost convinced myself it was nothing, just some stupid prank. I mean, come on, time travelers texting warnings? That's the kind of thing that happens in movies, not real life. Right? So I dragged myself to work like always. Same cramped cubicle, same boring spreadsheets, same microwave lunch that tasted like cardboard. My apartment was its usual mess. Takeout boxes piling up, laundry I kept forgetting to do. Just another day in my totally normal, completely ordinary life. That's when my phone buzzed again. The second message popped up. "I know you think this is a joke. It's not. Look outside your window, now." My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I didn't want to look, but what if? I forced myself to walk to the window. My hand shook as I grabbed the curtain. One deep breath, I yanked it open. At first, nothing. Just the same old street I saw every day. The flickering streetlight, the empty sidewalk, the movement. A shadow darted under the light. Too fast, too wrong. 1 second it was there, the next gone, like it had never been there at all. That's when I realized this wasn't a joke. And whatever was happening, it was just getting started. I stood frozen at that window for what felt like hours, staring at the spot where the shadow had been. My brain kept trying to explain it away, a trick of the light, maybe a stray cat. But deep down, I knew. That wasn't just some random shadow. It was watching me. The next morning, I jumped at every sound. My coffee machine gurgling, the neighbor's dog barking. Everything put me on edge. I kept checking my phone, waiting for another message. Part of me wanted to throw the damn thing out the window. Then, just as I was leaving for work, buzz. The screen lit up with words that turned my blood to ice. At 8:45 a.m. tomorrow, your coffee cup will crack in half. I actually laughed out loud. Now this was getting ridiculous. A psychic predicting coffee cups? I made a show of tossing my phone on the couch. "Nice try, buddy," I muttered to no one. But the next morning, at exactly 8:45, I stared at the coffee mug in my hand. A perfect crack split it right down the middle, hot liquid spilling over my fingers. I didn't even feel the burn. All I could think was, how could they possibly know that? And more terrifying, what else did they know? My hands wouldn't stop shaking as I cleaned up the spilled coffee. That's when the next message came through. This time it mentioned Buddy, my golden retriever who died when I was 9. The one I never told anyone about after moving cities. Then it described the jagged scar on my left knee from when I fell off my bike trying to impress Sarah Wilkins in 7th grade. Private memories. Things no hacker could know. The messages kept coming. You still sleep with the nightlight. You hum the Jurassic Park theme in the shower. You've watched every episode of The Office 17 times. Each one hit like a punch to the gut. How? How could they know these things? I tore my apartment apart looking for cameras, microphones, anything that could explain this. Nothing. Then the final message of the night. Check your front door. I almost didn't, but the curiosity burned worse than the coffee on my skin. With shaking fingers, I turned the knob and nearly screamed. There, taped to the outside, was a Polaroid, faded, like it was taken years ago. It showed me, standing in this exact spot. Same shirt, same terrified expression. But here's what made my blood run cold. Written on the bottom in my own handwriting, "You should have listened the first time." That's when the truth hit me like a freight train. This wasn't just some warning, this was a countdown, and I was running out of time. I did the only sane thing left. I blocked the number, deleted the messages, told myself if I ignored it, it would go away. But my phone kept buzzing. Notifications popping up from nowhere. No sender, no number, just words appearing like ghosts on my screen. Then the news alert flashed. Gas explosion downtown, 3 dead. My stomach dropped. Because I knew that exact location, those exact words. They'd texted it to me an hour before it happened. I couldn't breathe. My fingers flew across the screen. "If you're real, what am I thinking right now?" The reply came instantly. "You're wondering if this is all an elaborate prank. It's not, and you're running out of time." That's when I noticed the timestamp on their messages. They were all sent 1 minute from now. I wasn't being warned about the future, I was already living in it. I threw my phone across the room like it had burned me. It hit the wall with a crack, but the screen stayed lit, those words glowing in the dark. Running out of time. My breath came in short gasps as I paced my apartment. That's when I noticed it. The clock on my microwave. 11:33 p.m. In 1 minute it would be 11:34, the exact time from that first terrifying message. I froze. Every hair on my arm stood up. Some primal instinct screamed at me to move, to do something. But what? The message said not to go outside, but what if the danger was already inside with me? The microwave clock ticked over. 11:34. A deafening bang shook my apartment. Not from outside, from my bedroom, the room I'd just been in 5 minutes ago. My legs moved before my brain could think, carrying me toward the sound. The door was locked. From the inside, with trembling hands, I turned the knob, and the smell hit me first. Copper, smoke, something burning. There, on my bedroom floor, lay a body. My body, dressed in the same clothes I was wearing right now. A pool of blood spreading beneath me. No, beneath it. Because I was still standing, still breathing. Then my phone lit up in my pocket. A new message. "Now, do you believe me?" The screen flickered, and the timestamp read 11:35 p.m. tomorrow. I wasn't just receiving messages from the future. I was standing in 2 places at once, alive and dead, and I had no idea which one was real. Narrate, frantic, desperate. I needed answers. I spent hours searching for that number. No records, no carrier, nothing. Like it didn't exist. My hands shook as I called my best friend, Mark. "Dude," he laughed, "you've been binge-watching too much sci-fi. Lay off the caffeine." But then, something shifted. The next day, I heard Mark say those exact same words again. Same tone, same laugh, like we were stuck in a loop. I tried to speak, but my mouth moved on its own, repeating what I'd said yesterday. Then I saw him, a stranger across the street, just staring. His face glitched like a broken TV screen. For one terrifying second, his features twisted into... My phone buzzed. A new message. "I am you, from the future. You die at 11:34 p.m. tonight. I'm trying to stop it." The sidewalk tilted under my feet, because suddenly I remembered a gunshot, a scream. My scream. And the worst part, I'd seen this all before. I stood there on the sidewalk, phone clutched in my shaking hands, staring at those impossible words. "I am you." The world around me blurred. The sounds of traffic, people chatting, birds singing, all of it faded into white noise. My knees threatened to give out. This can't be real. That's what I kept telling myself. This has to be some kind of psychotic break. But then, the memories came, not like normal memories. These crashed into my mind like shattered glass. Sharp, painful, wrong. I remembered skidding on wet pavement, the scream of twisting metal, my head slamming against a steering wheel. a car crash that never happened. I remembered standing in a cemetery, staring down at a casket, and seeing my own face inside. The sickly sweet smell of funeral flowers mixing with the metallic tang of blood in my nose. I remembered waking up in a hospital bed, tubes down my throat, machines beeping, and a doctor saying words that made no sense. Third time's the charm, right? These weren't dreams. They were too vivid, too real. And they carried emotions with them. Terror, despair, a crushing sense of familiarity. Like I'd lived these moments 100 times before. My phone buzzed again. The message burned into my retinas. You've died before. This is the 17th time I've tried to stop it. And every time you make the same mistake. 17 times. 17. The number echoed in my skull. How was that possible? How could I? I stumbled into a nearby coffee shop bathroom, needing to splash cold water on my face. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead as I gripped the sink, staring at my reflection. Pale skin, bloodshot eyes, the face of a man losing his grip on reality. Then the lights flickered. For less than a second, my reflection changed. An older version of me stared back, deep wrinkles around haunted eyes. A jagged scar across his forehead, his mouth moving silently like he was screaming. Blood trickled from his nose. I reeled backward, slamming into the bathroom stall. When I looked again, just me. Normal me. Terrified me. But now I knew this wasn't just some warning from the future. This was a battle against time itself. And so far, time was winning. The message said I always make the same mistake. But what mistake? What was I missing? The answer had to be here, in these fractured memories. I just had to put them together before 11:34 p.m. found me again. I spent the next few hours in a frenzy, moving like a man possessed. The memories, those horrible, impossible memories, kept flashing behind my eyes like a broken film reel. Car crashes, gunshots, a fall from a building. 17 different deaths, all ending at exactly 11:34 p.m. My apartment became my war zone. I shoved furniture against the doors, taped blankets over the windows, unplugged every electronic device. No outside contact, no possible way for whatever was hunting me to get in. My hands shook so badly I could barely dial 911. "There's someone trying to kill me," I gasped to the dispatcher. "You don't understand. It's me, future me, and it's going to happen at 11:34. The pause on the other end lasted just a beat too long. "Sir, are you currently under the influence of any substances?" I screamed in frustration, throwing my phone against the wall. It didn't matter. None of it mattered. Because the clock kept ticking closer. 11:15, 11:20. That's when the final message came. Not through my shattered phone, not through any device at all. The words appeared on my living room wall, scrawled in what looked like smoke or shadow. "The death is always different, but the time is always the same." I sank to my knees, finally understanding. It didn't matter how many barricades I built. Didn't matter where I hid. The when was fixed. 11:34 p.m. But the how changed every time. A car crash last loop. A gunshot the time before that. I was trapped in a game of Russian roulette with time itself, and the barrel kept spinning. The temperature in the room dropped suddenly. My breath came out in visible puffs. The digital clock on my microwave flickered. 11:34 minutes. That's when I heard it, a knock at my barricaded door. Not loud, not aggressive, just patient. 3 soft taps. Tap, tap, tap. I stopped breathing entirely. Because I knew, somehow deep in my bones, I knew who was on the other side. The knocking came again, this time in perfect synchronization with my pounding heart. Tap, 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 tap. 11:32, 2 minutes. The knocking moved. Now it was coming from my bedroom window, the one I'd nailed shut just hours before. Then the bathroom, then the kitchen, circling me, hunting me. The air grew thicker, harder to breathe. The walls seemed to pulse inward, like the apartment itself was alive and hungry. 11, 11:33. 1 minute. That's when I realized my fatal mistake. All this time, I'd been trying to escape 11:34 p.m. But you can't escape time. You can't barricade yourself against inevitability. The knocking stopped. Complete silence. 11:34. The digital numbers burned red in the darkness. Then a whisper, right in my ear, in a voice that was mine but wasn't. You finally understand. I turned and came face to face with myself. There I stood, face to face with myself. Oldered, weathered, eyes hollow with the weight of countless lifetimes. His clothes were torn, his hands scarred, and in them, a gun. Time froze. The air between us crackled with something electric, something wrong. I wanted to scream, to run, but my body refused to obey. I could only stare into those haunted eyes, my eyes, and see the truth I'd been denying all along. You think this is the first time we've had this conversation? Future me said, voice rough like gravel. It's not. It's the 17th. He raised the gun. Not at me, at the clock on the wall. 11:34. The shot rang out, shattering the glass face. Time itself seemed to stutter. The fragments of the clock face hung suspended in mid-air, glittering like stars. The loop always resets, he whispered. No matter what we do, no matter how hard we fight, 11:34 comes, and we always die. A sound behind me. I turned, just in time to see another version of myself step out of the shadows. Younger, more terrified. The first me. The one who'd gotten that very first text. And suddenly I understood. This wasn't a loop, it was a spiral. Dozens of us, hundreds, maybe more, all trapped in this same moment, forever. Future me looked at us both with something like pity. See you soon, he said, and put the gun to his own temple. The blast echoed through the apartment. I woke up gasping in my bed, drenched in sweat. My phone buzzed, a new message. Whatever you do, don't go outside tomorrow at 11:34 p.m. And the worst part? This time, I recognized the number. It was mine. My eyes snapped open. Back in my bed, the same sheets, the same dim morning light. For one blissful second, I thought it had all been a nightmare. Then my phone buzzed. I already knew what it would say before I looked. Whatever you do, don't go outside tomorrow at 11:34 p.m. The same message, the same nightmare beginning again. My hands shook as I reached for my phone and froze. The sender's number. I knew these digits. They were mine, my own phone number. I stumbled to the bathroom, splashing water on my face. The cold didn't wake me up because I wasn't asleep. This was real, all of it. Then I saw it. In the mirror, my reflection blinked a second after I did. I leaned closer, heart pounding. My reflection smiled. A slow, knowing grin I'd never worn in my life. Its mouth moved silently, forming words I could somehow hear in my bones. Welcome to loop number 18. I smashed the mirror. Glass rained down around me, but the reflections, they didn't disappear. Dozens of shards showed dozens of versions of me. Some younger, some older, some bleeding, some burned. All mouthing the same terrible truth. This never ends, so I'm recording this now. Maybe you're watching this video. Maybe you're the one who can finally break the cycle. Because I've tried everything. Running, hiding, fighting. None of it works. The clock is ticking. It's always ticking. And when 11:34 comes, I'll be right back where I started. Save me. What would you do in this time loop? Could you escape when even death isn't the end? Comment your theories below and subscribe if you'd survive past the first night.